Welcome back to another reading and correcting with me, Kindar, the Tiger Knights, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. These are where I read a chapter from one of my stories and correct it as I go. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. And if you're looking to support me, that is on my Patreon. Today we are doing chapter 12 of The World Which Is. My nerves lighten with the rain. I don't know how far I made it during the downpour, since while I know in what direction court is, my ability doesn't tell me how close it is. I doubt I've made a lot of progress, as slow as I've been walking. The rain made it impossible to hear anything over it hitting the canopy, or see more than a meter around me. In a forest, but I have no idea how many animals and monsters, I didn't feel like running or even walking fast. Now I can see far enough, it's the trees blocking my sight, and I'm sure that once my ears stop ringing, I'll be able to hear something approaching. I still move carefully. I think we walked into the forest for a couple of hours before reaching the power station, but time wasn't what I paid attention to. When reach wasn't distracting me, the forest was. The ground squishes with each step, and I try not to let that stress me. Noise, noises attract monsters. No, noises attract monsters is one of the first thing grandmother taught us. If we find ourselves in the wild for some reason, be as quiet as we can. That and listen carefully. Perception check failed. With how many of those I failed since started to walk, I've got to be getting close to gaining a level. I've set those messages down to the bottom left so they'll stop obscuring my sight every few minutes. Find out the clouds are mostly gone as I approach a clearing and the sun shines through the canopy. I stop, surrounded by light breaking into rainbow sparkles on the raindrop covered trees. I look up, and in the haze of misted water, every beam that makes it through openings in the leaves is visible. Lines of light, some tinted green, fall everywhere. I'm tempted to thank Rich for taking me out here, letting me see this, but I'm standing here in spite of him, not because. So he can still go fuck himself. But I am glad I get to see this. The forest can be beautiful in a way court can't. At least I got to see this once, and my head snapped to the left as something flashes there. Perception check successful. I scan through the trees. Making a perception check doesn't mean I get information as to what I noticed. The flash gives me the area, but it could have been a leaf falling, a rat skittering about, or some monster poking its head around a tree to prepare an attack. If this was somewhere I planned on spending time, I'd advance points and training in skills that would be relevant. Tracking, sound identification, if that's a skill. Base can give me a list of what I want to find out of can give me a list if I want to find out what I'd want. Whatever it was, I can't make it out. So I turn back toward court. Wow. In the center of the clearing is an animal I've never seen. Antelope, level 8. Cryptozoology check failed. Cryptozoology check failed. That's definitely a skill I'd get if I was going to spend time here. It's big, but stands on surprisingly thin legs. It grazes the grass, its wide antlers almost scraping the ground. They too are thin and delicate looking. Water glistens on its chestnut colored pelt. It raises its head, looking in the direction I had. I check again and make out nothing. When I look at the antelope again, it's looking in my direction. Well, if it wanted to attack, I'd be dead. It goes back to grazing the grass, its head snapping in my direction when my foot squish as I back away. I'm not pressing my luck against a level 8 animal. I make it 4 steps before it's grazing again, and I turn toward court. over my loud footstep. I make out birds singing, the occasional chittering. Um, I make perception checks. And and occasionally catch sight. Is that double N or double L? And occasionally catch sight of something in the branches, but they're gone too fast for me to focus and get an aim. One of them jumped, and its body stretched to let it glide to another tree. Perception is now perception skill. Get back here. Is now level 16. Yes! Shit! I anchor down and look around. Perception check failed. A definite reminder that one level doesn't make that much of a difference. I grinned. Still, my first skill passed 15. The sound of the forest return, and I stand. I take a step, and the growl makes me turn as I equip the sword. At least I arm myself this time. Warg, level 2. I only have time to make out gray fur, something half my height, and that it's running in my direction before I see an open jaw and large teeth. I throw myself aside, and its paw slams, you know what, slams into me, throwing me to the ground. I get up to the flashing of my health bar, but no bleed debuff. One for me wearing armor. I roll to my feet and slash, but it's already out of reach. My free arm aches for the weight of a shield. I put my sword between me and the incoming claws, only for them to connect with my arm and send me spinning to another flash of my health bar. Now I can make out the missing health. I'm on my feet and back and sent back to the ground as it slams into me. I feel the claws on my chest as I swing, and it backs up. A red line becoming visible through the fur. It's thick. Uh, it's got to be thick for it to be that thin. It felt like I'd gone deeper. I'm on my feet and take the offensive, and it backs as I swing. I finally manage to cut its face, but it responds by jumping on me. I hit the ground hard, and something harder that pokes out of it, added to the warg's weight on me, cost me health again. I shove hard and roll away. The stone has a rounded tip, which accounts for the lack of debuff. And I throw myself aside again as it leaps at me. I dodge, but my swing misses too. I catch my breath as it circles me. My stamina's down to 3/4, my health to 7/8. Either drop to 0 when I'm dead. I attack, feigning left, and land a kick on its side that sends it down. I follow with a stab that grazes it as it gets up. But the bleeding is stronger than it on this cut. Is there a point where it'll flee? I slam my blade into its head as it almost lands on me, but it leaves me staggering, and my follow-up swing goes wild. Okay, this, but the stagger debuff. But I get a staggered debuff, and my follow-up swing goes wild. At least that kept it from attacking again. The debuff is as it attacks. The debuff vanishes as it attacks, and I curse as it drops at the last moment. Then I'm on my back and lose health as I swing as it swings into me. As it's wait, okay. As it swings me. Okay. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I need to better describe this. All right. I had difficulty figuring out what I was going for. The debuff vanishes as it attacks, and I curse as it drops at the last moment. I'm on my back. It's my boot. Its teeth. No, my boot in its jaw. My boot in its jaw. Um, I'm on my back. My boot in its jaw. And lose health as it swings me into a tree a few times before my free foot connects with its face and it lets go. It glares at me, panting as I push myself to my feet. Health well below 3/4 now. No idea how much damage I've done to it, or rather, how much it takes to take it down. It snarls and takes a step forward. I send it back with a swing that nearly connects with its muzzle. It comes at me immediately, and I let my left arm, and I get my left arm under its neck as it just snaps centimeters from my face. I stab, and my sword slides off its belt, but that still gets it off me. And there's another bleeding line at this point. If I can last long enough, the bleed debuff will get it if I don't. But I'm not going to win hoping for that. My swing connects and leaves yet another deep line in its side, but it's not backing up this time, and my arm's too high when I try to keep its head from me so that instead of catching it at the neck, its jaws closes on my its jaw. I think it only has one. Closes on my arm. It shakes its head and I'm underground, but it doesn't let go. I ignore the debuff as my health drops below half and try to stab it with my sword, but it's too close, and with it shaking me, I can't get the leverage for anything more than getting the point to slide off its hide. If that's hurting it, it's not showing it or letting go. With another slam, my health gets too close to a quarter. I only equip the sword and equip the knife, which I slam into it over and over. It slams me down again and then lets go of me halfway through the next one, and I slide on the wet grass. It looks at me, panting and bleeding a lot. I glance at the debuff. Debuff, fracture, left ulna. You have a broken bone. All action requiring this arm hard taken at 75% penalty. At least it's not bleeding. The armor's indented where the teeth bit in, but it held. It takes an unsteady step in my direction, and I use a trait to push to my feet. On the next step, it falters and it's on the ground. Its panting slows, then stops. Explorer quest completion. Step 1. Fighting monsters. You have fought your first monster. Reward 1098 experience. I slide down the tree as more messages appear. Really? Sword fighting skill is now. Let me just fix all of them now instead. All right. Sword fighting skill is now level 16. Parrying skill is now level 16. Kicking skill is now level 16. Dodging skill is now level 16. Blocking skill is now level 16. I chuckled, then groaned. Grandmother always said that nothing beats actual combat for gaining levels. Considering how long it took for my perception to hit 16 compared to all these skills, I can't deny it anymore. I unequip the knife and pull my last healing bar and unwrap it. One bite and I feel better. Half of it eaten and the debuff fades away. I finish it and my health is slightly above 3/4. As I start to crumble the wrapper, I notice writing inside. Carlisle Healing Emporium. 1278 Bloor, Toronto. I send that to my inventory, to my free inventory spot to dispose of once I'm home and get to my feet. I consider the dead warg, then touch it. Access. Rawhide, meat. Rawhide, meat, and bones are the only loot from it. Not worth more than what I'm already carrying, so I'll leave it there. Okay, not more so. It's not worth freeing. Not worth more than what I'm carrying, so it's not worth freeing an inventory spot. I think of home and orient myself, then I walk, paying more attention to my surroundings. I was hoping to find a place to add, because this being lit RPG, one of the things I want to do, and because I have a built system that actually makes some level of sense, I wanted to add him looking over the combat, the at least the tail end of the fight, so I can show the mechanics that I'm using. But yeah, this is not. I'm gonna have to do it in the start of the next chapter. Alrighty, well, this concludes chapter 12 of The World Which Is. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next chapter is going to be up, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to read this story, it is up on Royal Road. And other sites. I really need to update everything. Anyway, on Royal Road, if you want to read ahead of Royal Road and support me at the same time, that is on my Patreon. And if you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch. The links are in the note, and with that, I shall wish you a good day.